Alright, hi everyone, this is Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide, the channel, the Instagram mostly, but also the website. Even if it's a bit frozen, there's still some big content in it, and loads of infos and tasting notes. Anyway, today we're doing part two, of whiskey shows in France in the autumn, in September 2022. So last week I did record a long video. I will put a link on it in the description and at the end to explain my tastings in the two biggest shows in France regarding whiskey, but also other spirits. And I gave you, I think, not exhaustive of course, but quite detailed review of what I tried. This part is way more about tasting than talking about things, but yeah, just want to let you know I finally changed the lineup of the tasting of today. We're going to try only three whiskies and one Armagnac, and next time I have decided to separate because I went to Cotswold stand and I tried almost everything they had on the stand, but as I bought this prior to the shows, I will review them. I haven't reviewed them in English, I just realized that. So we'll review those two, maybe speak also a bit about the gin. One second, but I will do a special gin video or live show, I don't know yet, in the year, I don't know when. Also we'll do a separate video talking about where it is. It's called now in French Celtic Whiskey Distillery, Celtic Whiskey Distillery, but you know it more as Glenarmor from Brittany, a French distillery, or as Cornog, the pitted version of Glenarmor. Right, so got two samples from the distillery at the show. There's a cognac limited edition cognac cask, double maturation at 52% ABV, yum yum. And Cornog, so the pitted version, St. Ivy, Single-Cask Strength at 58.8. Yeah, no coloring there either, same for Cotswolds. So I'm gonna explain to you what I'm gonna try. Just I hope this come across well, because I had to change in emergency the mic you see here with another one. I did some trials and I see there's a background noise. I don't like it, but I don't know if I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna try when I'm gonna compress the video to see if I can change that, but pardon me if for this first or maybe the followings videos I might not be the best sound ever. I don't have room to before me, so just to understand, I don't have room before me, between me and the screen, to have both my notes, both showcasing a bottle or a sample, and both having a standing mic. So that is why I don't use this solution. I have my TV over there, I have lots of stuff there. One day I will show you. So it's a small place here, so it's a bit complicated, but I hope still it come across well. Enough blah blah. We're gonna start by the sensation, if I may say. Surely for those who had the money to go to the VIP level of Whiskey Life Paris, they had more. Let's show you first a picture of it, because obviously I don't have the bottle, but I tasted it at the show, and then I was kindly given a sample by the wife of the current owner, so from the Lelay family. Did I say those samples were provided by the distilleries or indie bottling companies? This is press samples as usual for me but it seems it's a problem for some that don't know the current practice for 20 plus years of the press related blogs, vlogs, etc. But primarily blogs do work like that for a long time, and that doesn't mean they're biased, or they might be biased but because of other things. I did a whole video about independence issues, independence questions, integrity, call it how you want. There's a lot of fuss about that. There's a lot of misunderstanding. Anyway, I'm not here to speak about that. It will be too long. I did a whole video, like I said, and I can debate in other places. We'll see one day. Maybe we'll have a real non-hypocrite debate about that, but it sounds very difficult, honestly. Anyway, I'm doing things like I think they are right. For those who don't appreciate this approach, they're not obliged to watch right. I don't like to say that, but anyway, I'm gonna show you something that's very special and that was a bit emotional to try for me. This something, and yeah, I realized I did 2 or 3 videos in French about, for those who complain I don't do enough French I did 3 videos about this distillery, the Distillerie de Menhirs, which does, and I forgot the leaflet I wanted to show you, but never mind. This is the current packaging of Eddu. Eddu means buckwheat because it's one of the first ever in the world, and maybe one of the still remaining, one of the only who does whiskey mainly with buckwheat, blé noir in French. This is the Brocéliande version, which is finished in Brittany forest, the most famous one for old tales, Arthur, etc. And the Round Table Knights, yes, Brocéliande forest. So this is the Eddu Brocéliande, which I will review in English soon, and maybe do an update in French. This is how the bottles looks now. This is how they looked before with the gold, which is one of the oldest release they have. Why do I show that? Because we're gonna try the Eddu Graal, which is a bit of a sensation here. Let me show you the bottle. Why a sensation? Because as some of you might not know, this is just the oldest French whiskey. This is a whiskey magazine that was offered with your ticket as the glass. I'm going to show you. There you go, Eddu Graal in a beautiful decanter, 21 years old. This is over 500 euros. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't have the bottle. And this is the oldest ever released French whiskey. The distillery exists since in Brittany since 1921. They were producing first, and they still do, cider-based spirits. But in 1999 they started doing whiskey, and it's no, before that. But the first release of Eddu was in 1999, 2002 with the silver. What else? And yeah, it's non-chill filtered, non-colored. All right. So there you have the sample. It's not fun to show a sample on cam instead of a bottle, but. And here's the glass, topped by some coin of France. I show you this because it's a spoiler for a future live show coming in soon, with some tastings. And there you have it, branded glass, Whisky Life Paris, showcasing the Grande Halle de la Villette, where in 10,000 square meters the show was taking place. So This is the oldest cask in the distillery, and among the older casks, the one that stood out when Loïc Lelay checked out the old casks he had in the warehouse, a cask filled by his father. So it's a nice story. I will tell you more about the distillery when I will do the videos about the other expressions I showed you. But for now, you have a 21 years old, only matured in French oak, nothing to disturb it, and it's 43%. I don't have the exact information whether it was 43.5, so 43.8 or 0.1, something like that. It's rare to have a rounded number, to be honest, on something that's natural cask strength. I forgot to say it. But they did check it this year. They were feeling it was ready to be bottled, and they were afraid, in fact, as it's, I think it's a Dunwich warehouse, it seems, they were afraid the ABV will get too low to bottle it as a whiskey. That's why they didn't wait for 25 years old, for instance. The weird thing is, this is not the oldest French distillery producing whiskey. Varanghem, that you know under the brand name Armoric, is in fact the older one, 1983, producing whiskey. But they didn't kept old stock as these did, and in fact this year also, I showed it in a previous video, but for those only coming in for this, where is it? Yeah, so Armoric this year did present his oldest whiskey. Here it is. But it's 15 years old. It's already cool, but it's a 15 years old. So it's they didn't keep stock as old as Distillerie des Menhirs, and so this is the crown of the French whiskey, if I may say, regarding the older cask ever available and released. Oh, enough blah blah. Let's get to the nose of this. Oof. Wow. Well, this one, I have to say, when I was at the show, I went quite early to the stand to try this because I knew it was one of the potential highlights, and it was, of the show, so I wanted my palate to be as fresh as possible. And honestly, this right away comes across as, no, let's keep this here. Comes across as something really sophisticated, really ready, matured, and really showcasing a lot of flavors and aromas on the nose, I mean. So you have the traditional buckwheat distilled touch of the Distillerie des Menhirs. I mean some kind of a honey and apple driven, it's not mead, but it's not far from mead, or light kind of mead, chouchen in French. But you have this very typical from the distillery mix of green, végétal in French, green elements, leafy herbal elements, mixed with some gentle oak and overripe apples and maybe pears a bit. Okay. They have there's something slightly heady, a bit solventy, which is also in the other bottlings. Let's put maybe those closer so you can figure out. We're speaking about that. We don't see it. Okay. Maybe there. Okay. No. It's too, okay, forget it. It was not a good idea. No, like this. Yeah, so you have this mix of aromas that completely intricate one into the other, honestly. Well, there's something almost perfumey, heady flowers too. I honestly will struggle to detail more at this point. No, I'm not gonna check out Whiskey Magazine's note. I prefer stand on my own. Yeah, it's almost mentholated wood now, but it's not menthol. It's I think it's the essence of the oak mixed with mainly the distillate. The buckwheat speaks a lot. So yes, super complex, super melted, super deep aromas. Now we're gonna see if in the palate it's as sophisticated. Santé, which means to your health in French. Wow. Well, I watered a bit my palate before, so it might influence the tasting. You gotta be very careful about that. So the second sip, I think, will be more reliable. Great depth, great length. You have this big buckwheat note and kind of oaky, mentholy, leafy note right after that, and then you have like some poetry. You have the oak, the apples, a bit of pears, maybe some ripe quinces, coin as well, on a bed of delicate flowers. All this is coming in progressively. It's really something super delicate. I'm gonna open it up, but with the tiny drops only. Last sip before I open it. I will retry this to give a rating, but it's difficult. I don't have much, but yeah, I think it's over this one, and ranking wise, and over this one too. But it comes across a bit like a mix of the two, I have to say, but with more depth. Previously, the older whiskey from the distillery was the Eddu Diamond, around 15 years old. I tried it this year. It's a beautiful whiskey, around 200 euros or more. So still expensive, but more affordable than this. But yeah, this is beautiful. Let me put a drop in it and get to the second, not whiskey, but dram, let's say. Can I say dram if it's not a whiskey? I'm not sure, but so just a drop. And yeah, I didn't talk about viscosity. I should have. There's a lot of viscosity, but they're not sticking so long. Probably not be able to see this, but yeah, a bit. They stick a bit in the glass. The legs. Okay. Wow, it's super delicate. Okay. That was a nice first try. Now, that said, it comes across different a bit from at the show. This had the time, sorry, to get some oxygenation before. Why I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was trying to recording this last week on the following of the first video, and before I put my lips on the glass, there was something that seemed not to go well on the sound, and I double checked I missed something in the intro, so I redid it, and while I heard the first minutes, I realized there was no more sound. So I tried 10 times with different plugins, etc., and it didn't work. So the mic was out of order. It was kaput. It was done. So I had to find another one, and I couldn't find the same day. So that's why I'm doing it again. So what I mean by that is that it poured the whiskies in the glasses. I capped them and uncapped them a bit, and unfortunately I have to put them back into the sample, so they did have time to have some oxygen. Right, we're gonna go now. I talk too much. I'm gonna go now to the second one, which is a bit particular case, I have to say, because where are my notes? This is an Armagnac. I'm sorry. This is an Armagnac because there was, I'm talking about the two shows, right? On the two shows there were other spirits, and in Whisky Life Paris there was a bunch of Armagnac and Cognac stand, and I didn't want to miss them. I missed some. You cannot try everything. But Delord was the first time, second time I tried something from them, but it was the first time I could try 5-6 different expressions from them. Go to see my debrief on, if you're interested, in my first episode, but also maybe a detailed note on and pictures on my Instagram. Again, lots of things are posted on my Instagram. There are still 6, I think, or 7 post upcoming ones for whiskey only this time. But I just posted a few days ago my impressions about Delord and L'Encantada Armagnacs, and also about Valentin Tersignier, Camus and Ferrand Cognac, just to let you know. So this one is from Delord. Delord family, as they say here, from 1893. And that is wonderful when you have the map. So where is the Armagnac region? It's there, and there you have the 3. And most of the time, Bas-Armagnac, it's there's Bas-Armagnac, there's Armagnac Ténarèse, and there's Haut-Armagnac. 99% of the time, no, 90, let's say, you will see this territory and controlled protected area as the others, the 3 others, showcased in bottlings you can find. This is a family-owned, of course, like often the best things, business, and there you can see the different shapes of the bottles in the collection. Usually they bottle like 40, except for a few single cask, and this the special Brut de Fût, which means cask strength collection, in which they're all natural cask strength, and they're all single cask. This you can see the stills, and it's distilled 1 time from wine, while cognac distilled 2 times. This a tonnage warehouse with of webs and all that jazz. Yeah, this is the true thing. And this one is a great value because it was around 70 euros only. Comes with this wooden box. The story about this bottling is a bit particular because what they do, I asked to Jérôme Delord, who selects the and blends also, because they also do some blends. The 25 years old is awesome. And in fact, this one is from cask 2000 to 133, bottled for this one in on September 14 of this year, but I tried the one in another show in June, which was bottled the 8th of June 2022, and I asked why, and they said it's the same cask. It's something we do sometimes. We wait a bit and we bottle the rest later on, according to demands and also stocks. And so this is a weird thing for me, but for me coming from whiskey, which is rarely done like that, but I know, because I did collaborate with the French distillery, they did that as well, and I waited for a few months as well. So does the content really change? I don't know. We'll find out. I don't have a comparison because I was late to buy the bottle, but I didn't want to miss it. So yeah, I kept it with the last drop. Chris from UK, from England, coined, because I know he's a fanboy of French other spirits like cognac and a bit of Armagnac as well. So this one's for you, Chris. So I'm gonna try their sample, but at some point I will open the bottle, and if it changes too much compared to this, I will let you know. But I saw it fill it from the bottle, so why do I do this before the next one? It's because next one is in sherry casks, and the last one has also specific type of cask that marks a lot the distillate, so I thought it was better placed there. And also it's way older, 22 years old, than the next ones. So beautiful, fragrant. Again, you have your ripe oranges, you have your plum, pruneau in French, you have your bit of oriental, not too much, dates, figs, stuff like that. The orange, did I say the orange? Yeah, some ripe orange as well, and you have some heady flowers, but everything is super quiet here. Did I say it? They bottled it, sorry, it was in French oak cask, and then for don't know how much, they put it back into what they call inactive or almost inactive cask for finishing, rounding everything. It's a common practice as well in Armagnac and cognac sometimes. So quite melted, super harmonious, super, like I said to him, to Jérôme, super balanced, super complex, and super quiet Armagnac. And this is really something to savor and sip and take your time with it. I didn't spoke about the legs, quite some fat legs. It's coming, I don't know about the chill filtration. I asked question about caramel coloring and sugar adding, but I didn't have the answer on time for the video. I will maybe add that on the comment on the description. But what I felt, and if I understood well, there's almost no sugar in there, especially for this range, I think, and probably not caramel coloring either. It's a company that is picky about that, and I didn't felt like for some other brands that it was adulterated or modified too much. Might be wrong, but yeah, so something beautiful to develop over time. And now I see I did well not doing 6 drams and only 4. Wow, nice. On the palate, it's as rounded as on the nose. There's depth coming from the age, and this is a warehouse, a dunnage warehouse, so it also comes across. There's nothing aggressive in there. The 48% almost doesn't feel 48, maybe 42, 43. Probably because of the recasking at the end, I don't know, that rounds off more the flavors. Yeah, some nice oak now. Some very sweet tannins. You have the pruneau d'Agen, so again it's kind of plum, but dried. You can fresh or eat it dry as well. You have some, even a bit of leather, I would say. Some old books as well. Maybe some chocolate as well, 60-70%, not more. Cocoa fat, I mean. It's something very harmonious, very gentle. It's not an Armagnac that I will recommend if it wasn't bottled to put it longer into cask. I think it was about time to bottle it. It's slightly on the edge of getting too oaky, but it's still very nice. But yeah, I'm going to be very careful to open it, because despite the ABV, this is not something that should be too much. Just a tiny drop, that's all. So you're quite charming, quite sweet, sweet not in the sense of sugar, but sweet in the sense of quiet, not aggressive Armagnac. So what else is said here? The producer, fourth generation. Jérôme and Jérôme, who works out the Armagnac more selection, blending, distilling, etc. And his brother Sylvain. Sylvain is more on the marketing side. So they are the fourth generation running this now. The official tasting notes, for once I will say, it's arôme boisé et vanillé avec des notes de fleurs séchées et de tilleul. So in English it's oaky notes and vanilla with note of dried flowers, and well, I cannot switch to the internet on my. I can still work this here. Tilleul en anglais. Basswood. There you go. Basswood. So there's a note of that in their opinion. And then on the palate they say the spice note, saffron. I don't really get the saffron. Licorice, yeah, I can see that. Candied fruit, and it's long and complex. Yeah, there you have it. Okay. Okay, I see why they say saffron. Saffron in English. Yeah, maybe. But honestly, if they didn't tell it, I wouldn't notice that. But yeah, there's something on the spice complexity that is interesting. So there you have it for the Armagnac, which is a kind of intruder, I know, I'm sorry, in the flight, but I had to put something from the other spirits there. I will do a special Armagnac and a special Cognac at some point. I don't know where. I have so many whiskies to cover. I'm also interested in gin and in rum, like I said. I really regret I couldn't have time to go to the rum stand. rum level stands. We're gonna go now into something different, go back to whiskey until the end, by the way. And this is the glass they gave with your entry ticket. Ooh, some viscosity here, but tiny legs. What is this? It's a Glentauchers from the Salon du Gars, Club Expert du Gars. Glentauchers, in case you don't know, it's a distillery from the Speyside area, and it's from 1897. Belongs, to Pernod Ricard. The liters, the amount of liters of pure alcohol per year is 4,200,000. 4,200,000 in French. It's what some would call, but for me it's not pejorative, a filler distillery. This is one of the backbone of Ballantine's, also Black and White and Teachers, but most known for a key component of Ballantine's blend. The distillery has 6 stills, stainless steel mash tun of 12, a bit more than 12 what they say? Sorry, I have to double check that. Problem when you get old is to read yourself, right? So again, apologies for not being completely efficient. So I'm gonna use this. I'm expecting the new release to be coming here soon, and I'm expecting also to be inside because of my work for Northman Distillery in French pages. So yes, it's a 12.2 ton stainless steel full lauter mash tun. Voilà. And they have 6 washbacks made with Oregon pines and 3 pairs of stills. So 6 stills. There's a 15 years old release at the Ballantine's Single-malt series, something showcasing the importance of the single malt in the blend. There was a 23 years old launch last year, but aside from that, and except if you go to some Chivas Brothers or Pernod Ricard distilleries where you find some distillery exclusive Cask Strength, you won't find anything except in indie bottling territory. So this is not the bottle this comes from, but this is the same range, small batch range from Cadenhead, the oldest single cask Scottish indie bottler, 180 years of working with whiskey and giving us something very simply labeled, simply unpacked, simply boxed, and very interesting value usually. This one is a 24 years old Glengarry, which is awesome, that I should review someday, I know. This is not the current look, unfortunately, of the label. They have done something crazy, I don't know why. Something that's almost gray or beige or something. You almost cannot read what is in there. I don't know why they did that. Please come back to this label. Black and white, and that's all. A bit shiny, a bit of silver maybe, but please don't do that. Usually this comes with a back label, sometimes they do not, and they have a leaflet in the cardboard box. We're not talking about this bottling today, so I'm just showing it to tell you this Glentauchers is in this range. Now what's all about, it's a 14 years old, bottle 2022, 46% ABV, so reduced. Non-chill filter, non-colored, I like all what they do. The only info I am not sure about, because I was told very quickly and I couldn't find infos on the internet, I'm sorry. So it's given info with reservations about it. They said Firkin sherry but it's not possible to be a but if it's Firkin, right? So it's for me it's Firkin sherry cask, and it's around 60 liters, something like that. So it's a small cask with probably more impact on the distillate. Let's get on the nose of this one. Oh, I don't know if I have to. So yeah, sherry and oak. What to expect? What else to expect? 40 minutes. My God. Little sweet and sour. Little. A bit musty as well. So probably Dunage Warehouse with also the great impact of the oak on it. I don't know. I struggle to nose things today. There's some ripe fruit, some dark chocolate. Maybe licorice here as well. Black licorice. Some leather as well. And then it's oak chocolate, not really red fruit. I don't get them. Okay, just a sec. I hate to do that on cam. Cheers, Slangeva, shall I say. Okay, it's more interesting on the palate than on the nose, I have to say. There's a mix of elements coming in at the same time. Dark chocolate, caramel, almost fudgy caramel, so quite seducing. There's some raisins, some dried fruits, a bunch of different dried fruits. There's some sweet spices. Comes across again less than 46. It's weird. Also, it had the same time as the others to oxygenate before put back into the sample. Again, I'm not taking notes today. I shall take note very quick after that, before it gets too much air in the samples. So another sip and finish with a drop. Yeah, there's an oakiness in there. Still balanced, but tends a little in the oaky side. There's something that's subdued in there that I'm not really fond of. I wouldn't say tired cask, but a refill certainly. And there's something that's missing to put this into a better level. I didn't give rates. Maybe I should give a rate to all the Eddu. Maybe I would say something around 88, not really more. The Armagnac maybe 86, 88 as well. This one is an 85, 83, 85 comfortable one. We'll see how the next one and last one does today. Okay, it's the only, unfortunately, Cadenhead I could try. I went too late because the Springbank stand was super busy, so they asked for stopping pouring whiskey to people at the end of the show almost. So I said, I'm sorry, I would like to try, but I can't. I still have an empty sample. Can you fill it? So I will try it home. Instead, this I can do, she said. So thanks to her. I'll check my messages later on. So nice whiskey, but you see, nothing really. She said it was the best feedback she had on the stand of the offer. on the Salon du Gars show, but I know she had a 37 after my visit. I learned there was a 37 Highland Park under their old under the table, so too bad. So 7 years old Highland Park is not something you're coming across often, right? So voila. Next one, again, I don't have a bottle. It's just arriving here in France, I guess. I haven't seen bottles even on the, I'm not even sure. No, it starts to be showed in the Maison du Whisky website, but otherwise it's something super rare for here in France. So I had the chance to try, where is it? It's here, and to speak with one of the founders, if not the founder. So here's American single malt this time. Let me put that here. I don't know if you see it. And yes, it's Westward, which is located in Oregon, United States, and it's a single malt. It's a craft distillery. They say here, I don't know if it's true, it's marketing, the most awarded American single malt. I don't know, I thought it was Westland, but I might be wrong. They say 6 gold medals in San Francisco World Spirits contest. I don't know. I mean, if it's written, they have those awards. The one we're gonna try today is the, let me not mistake, is the Pinot Noir cask finish. It's called Pinot Noir cask, but it's a finish. I tried also the core range regular one, which doesn't have a specific name, American single malt. It's this one in the middle, the green. And I also tried and enjoyed the stout cask finish, which is in brown, right? So I had a few infos. Again, it's often exclusive here at Greg's Whiskey Guide. Infos from the owner. It's single malt produced with local barley. The fermentation is between 96 to 126 hours. I forgot to say 2004 is the date they established themselves, but they had to move to produce whiskey more in a more efficient way, a few blocks away, and so in 2015 they did restart again the production in a new place, and first releases of the current brand is 2009 and 2012. First single malt 2009. In 2018, an interesting thing to say, Diageo through other company Distilled Ventures took a minority stake, and they loaded some money in there to help increase the production. So now it's around 225,000, if I heard well, liters of pure alcohol per annum. They've been rebranded in 2020 with the pictures I showed you. They get a heavy toast, but it's number 2 toast, so it's still moderated. I have my notes from the Whiskey Life Paris this time. So they have a single malt classic, and they have the Cask Strength as well. They have the stout cask, and this one is the Pinot Noir cask, which was aged 5 years in New Oak and 1 year in Pinot Noir wine cask. They don't say where the Pinot Noir comes, but we know there's a lot of wineries in the U.S., so it can also be from California, for instance. I don't know. I have to double check that. I couldn't get infos about that. It's sometimes difficult to source the wine that the distillery uses. The name, but also the location. This is sold, I forgot to speak about prices for the previous ones. Don't have the price for the Glentauchers, by the way. But this one is sold 97 euros in France, so it's and the classic single malt is 79, so it's not cheap. New single malts come quite expensive here, no age statement, quite young. It was the same problem for Westland. I guess there's a margin thing in there also. Once again, here's what it looks like. I had only one sample left, so I asked for the one I maybe didn't try well or try only at the end, to give it another chance, so the Pinot Noir. But I like the stout cask a lot. The single malt and the cask strength were nice, but for me it was a bit too oak forward at some point of the tasting. So maybe it needs more reworking on the oak or more age, simply like that. I don't know. But it was nice. They were all nice, but yeah, had a bit of reservations on the oak. But yet very well crafted, and we're gonna see how this one works. So the legs are tiny, they stick some time and then they fall down, and it is a great gate. It's a non-chill filtered, non-colored whiskey. Did I say that? Of course, the Cadenhead was as well. Let's get on the nose before it gets to 1 hour. Quite fragrant. The wine cask comes across with some ripe cherries, yeah, there's something a bit red, ripe, and slightly acidulous. So I will try to. I should do that more often. Use the phone instead of trying to blackberries. There's some blackberries in there, and then some gentle oak with some Swiss, let's say Swiss, because there's a lot of milk, but it's not necessarily only milk, milk and dark chocolate mixed, and some oak, but it stays tame on the background. This is the nose. Now, cheers, because we are in the US for the palate. Quite some tannins, some dust, dusty oak, but not a bit like Tamdu currently, but it's not sherry, so it comes across differently, but very well made, very beautiful finish. There's some heady flowers coming in, some black cherries as well, almost a slightly tempered Amarena cherries. I'm a sucker for that feel, but nice return of it's not winey. I hate winey whiskies, even when they have wine cask in it. There's something again, I don't know the word in English. It's a very specific French word that means easy, something like easy drinking. Easy drinking, and yeah, gouléant in French. Drinkable. It's they say, Google says drinkable. No, it's not drinkable. Gouléant, it's something that rolls on your palate. It's that's pleasant to chew, very easy to chew, liquid. Whiskey in that matter, and something that has rounded and a bit acidulous notes. That's what I understand by gouléant. When you have a nice Beaujolais Nouveau, for instance, or Gamay, it's gouléant if you're into wine. That's the sensation I get there, with something very easy, even if it has some structure, and it's very pleasant and very well made. Whiskey again, Nice combination between the oak, gets a bit dusty, but and the wine and the tannins of the wine, the tannins of the oak. That's a nice crossing there. We'll try to put a bit of water. I really recommend this one and the stout cask in particular, but and the cask strength almost pleased me more than the reduced version. I don't know why. The reduced version, the classic, is 45 ABV, and the cask strength 62.5. Yeah, so I might mistake. It's 275,000 liters of alcohol per year. So it's not too small distillery. Ooh. You know what that reminds me of? Not Starward, but some other Australian whiskies. Don't remember now. It uses Shiraz and Pinot Noir and stuff like that. Very pleasant whiskey. So if I had to rate it like this on first impression, not first, second, let's say something getting up to 87 maybe, 86, 87, quite pleasant. So yeah, the future is bright for American single malt, and currently they're working for an official category of single malt, so going on to define regulations. So interesting. I'll still have some left to take better notes. I mean, take more time. So I hope it was interesting. Next time I will try the Cotswolds for you and give you feedback again on the other expressions I've tried from them. Then probably a live show with a friend, and then many other things. So thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, thanks for liking and subscribing if not done enough yet. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye bye.